Welcome to Crossover to Profits. Stay tuned to the end because I have 5 great swing trading setups for you today. Today is July 26, 2024. It's a Friday, just wrapping up the market week, and wanted to run through where we're looking for setups. Going to look at both the market health. So I start with the IWM and the IWB, looking at if on the weekly chart, how is the health of the market. So IWB is for our large cap, anything over 10 billion in market capitalization. So you can see here on the weekly chart, we've got a negative 5 EMA slope, and we've got a falling, actually a negative MACD momentum. So I'm avoiding any stocks with the market cap above 10 billion. But the small caps, the IWM, is a much different story. The Russell 2000 index, you can see we're in a nice uptrend. We have a positive 5 EMA slope on the weekly, and then a positive and rising MACD histogram, and we've got a lot of bullish volume supporting this move. So I'm looking at stocks under 10 billion in market capitalization. If both those would have been in the red here, a negative slope, so if the 5 EMA was sloping down, I wouldn't be placing any new entries. But since the IWM is in play, we are looking for stocks. So that's my starting point. And then from there, I look at sectors. So I look at the different spiders to see the same type of analysis on the weekly chart, what spiders show a positive EMA slope. And so you can see we've got majority of them are meeting that condition. So we have XLP, XLV, XLRE, XLU, E, F, B, and I. So basically everything except tech and consumer discretionary and communication services is positive slope. And then from there, I look at the MACD to make sure it has momentum supporting that weekly slope. And I break that down between a positive and rising and negative rising. So we have XLP, XLV, XLRE, and XLU, all with positive EMA slope and positive and rising MACD histogram. So I consider those first tier. So I'll look at those sectors first, and then from there, I'll look at energy, financials, basic materials, and industrials. So now we've narrowed our analysis down to small caps for the first section, and then now we know what sectors within that to look at. And then from there, I have a stock scanner, and I'll pull it up, the full scanning results. And basically what I look for each day is I will filter it based on market caps. You can see all the market caps here are under 10,000 million or 10 billion. And I'll pull it in by sector. And then I also pull in industry. That's just helpful for me as I look at some further analysis, tracking my trades. And how I look at trade setups is I have a volume indicator here. I call this my volume squeeze indicator, and the green bars are going to highlight when it's bullish price action for that day, also supported by above average buying volume. And then I also look at, does it have positive momentum on the MACD, and is it a squeeze? So if you're familiar with the TTM squeeze indicator, this is similar view. It's just I'm using MACD as my momentum. It's a little bit faster moving than the TTM squeeze momentum indicator. And then I've got red dots, which recognize the standard squeeze, yellow dots, which is pre-squeeze. So that's a 2 ATR versus the standard 1.5. And then I've also got some purple dots on here, which is what I consider a bulge or band squeeze, which I will go into further detail of what makes up the conditions for that. But basically, it's got to be in a squeeze. I don't want the price move to go away from me, so I narrow it down. And then I also use some EMA moving averages to narrow my search as well. So I like to think about things in terms of time horizon. So the yellow EMA here is 5 period, and then the turquoise is a 20 period, so weekly, monthly. The purple is 60, which I like to think of as quarterly, and then this dark orange is 240 trading days, which is a year. So I have my EMAs broken out to weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. That just helps me kind of make sense of the different time horizons. And I've got to make sure that the monthly EMA is above the quarterly. And I also want to make sure that my price is above the 240 EMA. So I want to make sure that over the long run it's been accumulated versus being distributed. And I also have the Donchian channels here. That's the dashed lines, just to show that we have a series of rising highs and higher lows, or is it just sideways movement, or is it really a downtrend? So those are all my indicators, and I'll go into further details in future videos of how to build out each one of those. But let's get into what setups we're going to look at for today. So again, this is the big output of my stock scanner, and I'll have that pulled up on a different screen, how I like to flip through it. But for this sake of this video, I am going to have it down here at the bottom just so you can see. So XLP was our starting point. So consumer staples, we got two results there. SFM, Sprouts Farm, making a new 52-week high here and a nice consolidation. Had a pullback. You can see we've over the course of the year, it's risen consistently. All this green, a lot of buying volume without really any big sell-offs. This is a really good setup. So I'm going to say this is definitely one to have on the radar. And then we flip over to our other consumer staple, PRMW. Not as good looking setup. We've got a lot of overhead volume here that it's got to overcome. A lot of selling here. You can see the red. There's been a lot of selling pressure. It has a nice uptrend over the past week. That's a pretty strong move. So this isn't really a setup I'm liking, but I am going to go ahead and highlight SFM, and I would add that to your list. There's one great swing trading setup for Monday. And then our next section is going to be XLV. So we're going to go to healthcare. We'll pull up our healthcare results here. So GRN, which is a biotech, a lot of chop there. I'm not really liking that setup. Second one is RNA. It's making a new 52-period high. A lot of positive momentum, but I think that's moved too much for my liking. LBPH, similar, massive move. It really hasn't consolidated as tightly as I would like. And then we have PHAT Pharmaceuticals, which is much tighter consolidation. You can see the Donchian channels. Bands have continued to rise, higher highs, higher lows. The EMAs are starting to spread out a little bit. So I like that. We've got a lot of volume coming in here. You can see almost every day has been above average. There has been some selling pressure with more buying pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and add that as a nice setup as well. So PHAT is your second. Go down the list. So we got real estate as our next bucket. SHO. Looking at the weekly, you can see just a lot of sideways movement. I'm not really seeing anything there. And then IRT, it's been over the course of 3/4 of a year, just consistently moving up. Problem with these REITs is they don't move very much. The ATRs can be pretty low on them. A lot of bearish days with just not a lot of volume either. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on the real estate. We don't have any utilities coming through the scanner today. So we'll move into our second tier, energy. We've got two results there. KGS, sorry. A lot of sideways moving here on the weekly. You can see it on the daily. Failed breakout and then a pretty heavy pullback. I'm going to pass on that. And then CRC sideways for a year. And look at the weekly, it even flushes that out more. So there's nothing indicating this is the time to enter that. We've got a lot of overhead supply to break through. So we'll move on to our financials. We've got one result there. QFIN. I like to avoid ADRs. I'm assuming this is a Chinese stock, so I just avoid those. Next one, we're going to go to XLB, which would be our basic materials. We've got one result there. Or your metal coat. Weekly, you can see we had a nice move up in the first part of the year, and then a pullback, some consolidation. It looks like we've got some pretty nice price action. You can see all this green, so that's bullish price action where it closed towards the high of the day. A lot of lower wicks here, but it recovered almost every day. So I'm liking the HCC, so I'm going to have that as another. So there's your third item, and then we'll go to XLI. Okay, we got 3 for industrials, RXO, a lot of positive momentum. That's not really a consolidation that I like to trade into. We got Air Lease, so you can see nice consolidation, breakout, some chop, deep pullback, and we've been consolidating, building up some momentum. Got the MAs starting to stack again. That's a good looking setup there. And then the other industrials is Mastech Inc. And here we can see we've made some really strong price move. And then for several weeks now, we've been just consolidating. We had this nice pullback. So this might have hit some stop losses. Maybe this 60 period EMA would have got some people stopped out. And then we're consolidating again. Some really nice green bars lately. I'm going to say that's another great setup as well. So we've got SFM, PHAT, we got MTZ, HCC. So there's 4. And then let's go back to that real estate. Let's go back to the IRT. So here, I think this would probably be your 5th one if you want to get into real estate. I know real estate's been on a really strong move. Pull up the XLRE. Big period of consolidation, really tight consolidation, broke out, got a lot of volume coming in. Yesterday was a pretty bad sell-off day, but we recovered most of that today. We recovered all of that today, actually. So I'm going to say IRT would be the 5th setup. So there we have it. That's 5 great swing trading setup ideas. These are all consolidation-based breakouts, looking for strength of both the market cap and the sector, and then looking at the individual security. So hopefully you found that helpful. Please stay tuned. I'm planning on doing this as daily reviews for swing trading. And I will log all these in my stock trading journal here, where I'll be able to type in the ticker, the industry, the market capitalization, my setup, the close, the ATR, and the stop loss. And then from there, it'll calculate how many shares to purchase, what my entry price is going to be, and then my targets. It's a really helpful tool. Link for this model will be in the description. It's got a nice summary sheet and an interactive dashboard as well that will log bets as we get some put in there. I had 2, not bets, trades, sorry about that. 2 trades entered yesterday, ESPR and TGLS. Those, neither one performed well today, but I'm still feel confident those are going to play out. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and God bless.